Hey, we in here. What? Intro? I don't need no motherfucking intro. All right, y'all. Welcome to the House of Soul podcast episode. What episode are we at? I think we're at episode 5.
I don't remember.
5. Episode 5. Sorry, I had to remember that. Episode 5. Want to thank you guys again for listening. Thank you guys again for being here in the House of Soul to show love, listen to us, talk about movies, TV shows, and all that good stuff. And today we'll be talking about The Harder They Fall, and which is Netflix original, and episode 4. Is it 3?
It was episode 3.
Episode 3 of The Haunting of Hill House. Touch is what it's called, that episode. Yeah. So I'm joined here again with my lovely co-host.
She.
Yes, we're in here again for another beautiful day. Hope you guys are having a good day too. And if you like what you hear, please give us a follow, on the House of Soul, any of our social medias. We have them all. So anything you prefer, we got. The only thing we don't got is Snapchat. Don't ask me. I'm not getting Snapchat. Don't even start with me. So, all right. Getting into it. Which one do you want to talk about first? The Harder They Fall or episode 3 of the Haunting?
Episode 3.
You want to start there?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to start with episode 3 of The Haunting of Hill House. Touch, right?
Yeah.
Touch. Okay, you know how it always goes. I start, ladies first.
It was kind of wild. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I had to revisit it to remember, what I had saw. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they didn't go.
Not to cut you off. Normally I would first give the synopsis of the show, or I would go into the cast, but we're on episode 3 now. If you would like to know the cast, please watch the previous episode. Show some love. Don't just watch this one and go away. Come on, stay here. Come on, stay right here with us. Take a seat. So we'll go over there. Since we're going episodic, we've already went through that. So we're just getting straight into it. Go ahead.
It was called Touch, and like I was finna say, I did enjoy this episode. They didn't go back in time, flashbacks too much, because that get confusing to me after a while.
Yeah.
To keep going back, it's like, and it's harder to remember who was who,
Yeah.
But now that we've into episode 3, I know who's who. So
yeah.
And it was about the girl who wear the gloves, which her name, they call her Theo, but her name is Theodora.
Yes, Theodora Crane.
Yeah, and she touched things, and she either sees it, feels it,
Mm-hmm.
she either see it or feel it. So that's why it was called Touch.
Yes. So I guess I'm going to add to that. This was more interesting than the last episode.
I agree. I
find, even though it's so interesting, I find Shirley of episode 2 to be a more interesting character.
Oh.
I find it to be a more interesting character, even though Theodore's episode was better to me. It was just a better episode.
I don't really care for that character. And it's nothing against her. It's just her character is like, ooh, she living in denial. Shirley.
Yeah.
Not Theodora.
Yeah.
Theo.
Yeah. I think I just find her to be a more interesting character, period.
Okay.
Like, just, and I'm not saying I particularly like the character.
Okay.
It's just, I find her fascination with death more interesting.
Mm.
But when it comes to the episode, Theodora's episode, I think was more interesting to me. And maybe it's because of the supernatural element.
And her superpower, touch.
Which is a terrible superpower to have.
Oh my God. I disagree, but whatever.
I think
I would want to touch somebody to see some stuff.
But it's always crazy to me that, like, how do I put it? You always say you don't care for horror movies because this comes out of the mind of a man, and yet you want to rummage through people's minds. That always That always blows my mind, because the things you see in someone's mind may not be what you particularly want to see.
That's true.
Because what it seems like is, well, it's. I guess it doesn't. I'll say this. It's very fascinating how they displayed her quote unquote abilities in this episode, because normally when they have a character in a show or a movie that can touch you and kind of like get all your memories or to see all of it, you know, normally those people look like they're having seizures because of how
when they see something,
when they touch somebody, you know. But in this one, it was very, you know what it was? I think it was very cleverly done. Was that you're kind of not with her, you're with her.
What?
I'm
See, I think her touch power started. Remember the opening scene when she was in the bed and she thought it was her sister.
Okay, no.
They got in the bed with her.
Okay, no. I'm talking about. When I say not with her, but with her, is that a lot of times the movie wants you to kind of feel the person who's going through this seizure or this touching or whatever. So normally what happens, you touch it, they flash at the memories of what they see, they have the seizure, they're on the ground or whatever it is. In this one, you just see her touch and look off into space and then start reacting.
Yeah, they don't tell us what she's seeing or nothing. Yeah, they don't give us a flash of
you
nothing.
Just see her reaction of it.
Yeah, it's just her after reaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
which is it makes you very curious on what did she see? What did she see?
Yeah, because you
never show us what she sees.
Yeah, because you made that a point that you made that a point that you wanted to see what she seen
when she had touched her dead sister. Yes.
Yeah, and I felt like that wasn't necessary because as soon as she touched her, she freaked out. And
after she touched her and let go, then she freaked out. But while she was touching her, she was just, I guess, rummaging through her mind or rummaging through her last
thoughts,
visual thoughts or whatever, you know.
And then she flipped out, fell to the ground, started
afterwards,
crying, and hyperventilating, screaming.
That's why I wanted to know, what did she see?
And I felt like,
was it in the house, or was it what she had went through in her lifetime? I mean, you know.
And see, that's the thing.
Wanted to see.
Oh, you wanted to see, and to me, I felt like that'd be a waste of time to see,
because
the emotion was what needed to be put across, and that was put across.
I wanted to see. Still, just give me a flash of something.
Okay, so the episode we've been talked about, but let's start with the episode. So the episode starts with, how did it start?
She was in the bed sleep, and a hand came up and held her hand, and
like
she thought it was her sister.
Like it
started spooning. Yeah. She thought it was her little sister because she kept saying, "Nell, you're squeezing my hand too tight. You had a bad dream."
Squeeze me too tight.
Yeah. You had a bad dream, and she was squeezing her hand too tight. She was holding to the hand,
mm-hmm.
and her sister, and then the hand wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
That's when she got up and went to turn over to like tell her sister, "Let my hand go from so tight," and there was nobody there.
Yeah, and it shows the hand too, so you see the hand.
You see the hand
grabbing her.
Yeah. See, I wonder, is that when she got her powers? Well, I don't want to call them powers, but
abilities.
Her abilities. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder, is that when she got her ability, because she was squeezing the hand herself tight.
Yeah.
Because they don't say before that if she could feel something.
Yeah.
It was only after that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah.
And she's kind of, I guess, freaked out.
Yeah.
Kinda, but don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah.
And
like all kids, you know, they would trip off that. You know.
And she goes, and this is her as a little girl, and she goes and talks to the mother about it, or talks to the mother, because I guess Theo is kind of finding things around the house that shouldn't be found.
Yeah.
And what
well, not to say shouldn't be found, but see, because when
meant to be found.
Well, no, because remember the father was finna throw away that expensive bottle of wine, but when she was helping her father unpack some stuff to throw away, and to get a giveaway, to resell or whatever, remember? And then she said, no, this is expensive, because he gave it to her for the trash pile.
Yeah.
And it was in that bottle, it was a bottle of wine encased. And she said, no, this is expensive. And the father had to pull that nail up and then look inside and see it was an expensive bottle of wine.
You're right. Yeah. So she's clairvoyant.
I don't know what to call it.
I don't know the word.
See, if they give us a peek into what she see, then we can have a clear picture of what to call it.
What?
Yeah, I think we would know what to call it if they show us what she see.
I think you've asked too much information.
Huh?
I think you're asking for unnecessary information.
Well, that's just, I want it. Give it to me. I want it.
Okay. Well, you ain't get it. So
no, I did not. No, I did not.
So then it flashes to her being an adult and kind of, what was it? Steven, which episode 1 was about, was the writer, and I guess what he was the oldest brother.
I think he's oldest.
He's the oldest
brother.
Brother. And he's kind of releasing the first book, and he's talking about, I feel some type of way if I just came out with this book, period. So everybody gets 8% of all the royalties of it, which kind of, it pisses off Shirley. It pisses her off because she's like, it's not about the money, like it's not about that. It's about you telling our story, like, and using names and stuff. Like they felt some type of way about that. Yeah. And they're having an argument about it, like money, like they don't care, and they're like, we're not taking any of your blood money, blah blah blah. And it seems like Theo is, I don't know, I feel it's so interesting because Theo comes off to me, even as a little girl, which I thought the little girl done a great job acting, because even the adult version of Theo is very similar, because I feel like they're just reacting to everything, or she's just reacting to everything. Like, she's not really active. She's very reactive to everything going on around her. Because when arguments happen, she like I said, what is it, for that scene when they were when Steven was talking about the book and giving his whole family 8% of the royalties on all of it, Shirley gets mad and starts going hammer on homie. But the cold part was Theo, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember the name, I'm sorry, bad with names. But Theo is just sitting there, like, letting them argue. Everyone's just letting them argue. And no one says anything. So it's kind of like,
those are the two older kids, though.
They're always arguing.
The brother and sister, Shirley and Steven, are the two older siblings.
The oldest siblings. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why they're in conflict, I believe.
Yeah, and then when it came up, what did Theo say? Like, I don't want your money, I just want to do this. And she bumped out. Like, she seemed like, man, I'm over this bullshit, and she left. Like, she seems very detached. That's what it comes off with.
Well, all of them had compartmentalized things.
No, I didn't say compartmentalized. That's not what I said. I said detached.
Right, but they were always detached because they didn't want to admit what had occurred.
Okay. Theo is more detached than anyone else is. They all, like, you know what it feels like? It feels like the rest of the family didn't want to deal with each other. Like, they didn't want to. It feels like Theo just can't deal with them. Like, it feels like she has no enemies with, like, you know, they have arguments and they have their kind of beef with each other in some degree. Like, they have some kind of issue with each other. Yeah. But she's the only one that feels like she has no real beef with anybody. It's just, I can't be near you.
I disagree. I think she's the one that feels the most and will admit. She admit what they saw. I mean, because when she was talking to her sister, and she was like, tell him the truth about how Nell died. Tell him the truth. You don't want me to tell him. You know what I mean?
She was talking to
her sister, Shirley, at the foot of the bed. And Shirley said, I don't know how I'm going to tell my kids if my kids ask me how she died. So I'm thinking she clearly knows what have occurred. She's just like over it. She's over it because nobody else is talking about it.
You know what? When I say detached, I mean detached. But it's so interesting because even though Shirley works with the dead bodies, Theo's the coldest to me. She's the coldest of them all. She's the coldest
type. She's not warm at all. She's very cutthroat, tell the truth style thing.
Right.
She's even like I said, even when you.
That's because she don't want to touch nobody. She knows too much.
Detached.
But I don't think she's I wouldn't say detached, and I don't have a word for what I would call it, but I wouldn't say detached. Mm-hmm. Me personally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that because she feels so much. She wear those gloves so she don't have to touch anybody.
Yeah.
That's not detaching. That's self-preservation.
Well, you gotta, I think that's okay. This is why I use the word detached and separated, because normally, and because I'll be on Theo's character, or at least the whole ability to touch people and get their feelings. This is not the first time it has been done with many characters in many movies, TV shows.
Right.
And their biggest. The same kind of, I guess I'm going to say groundwork or same, what's the word, base, framework or whatever has been done before. And these type of characters are always the most detached from people characters because they can't touch people. That's the thing. They can't touch people. And you got to think how detached you would be from people if you never could touch them.
Yeah, but remember when she was having sex with that girl, she said, touch me. She was asking the girl to touch
her.
Yeah,
but remember, she was like, shut up, I don't want to talk type. She was like, I don't want to get to know you.
She just wanted to feel.
That's my point. But she's detached.
See, okay, it's semantics. We disagree.
Okay.
And it's just about now, it's just semantics.
Yeah, we're going to technicalities that don't get, you're right, my fault.
Not matter.
My fault, you're right. So, after the argument they have with the family, it kind of it goes to her job, and she's a what is it, child therapist, child social worker,
psychologist, therapist,
that works
trauma in children.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's specific. Well, I mean, I guess if you went to therapy, you're going through some kind of trauma,
especially when you're a kid.
Yeah, especially, but she works with kids, and she's like a psychiatrist.
Because the little girl looked like she might have been about 7, and the little boy looked like he was about 7 or 8.
Yeah, so very young. Yeah. So she's talking to one of the little girls, and the little girl won't stop. She makes it a point to kind of talk about the smiley man or something.
Yeah.
And she notices the little girl is very removed from the session. She don't really want to talk about that. She's saying the smiley man, blah blah blah.
She's there because the woman said that when she first got to him, her grades was good, but now her grades are slipping in her behavior. The black lady to the husband.
The woman, the mother.
Yeah.
The foster
mother. Yeah. Said when she first got to them,
the family,
because they was in foster care. This girl was in foster care. Yeah. When she first got to them, she was doing good in school, whatever. And then once the situation started happening, her grades started slipping, her behavior changed.
Yeah.
So that's why she was going to the therapist.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. And I got something to say about the scene I'm about to talk about, because she's talking to a little girl, noticing the smiley face. Okay, weird session. And she goes to the parents and is like, who is the smiley man? Kind of, how long has this imaginary friend existed? Parents kind of brush it off. Like, that's not what they're kind of like, that's not important to us. Why is she failing in school? Why is she acting this way?
But they did say shortly after she got there to them.
They answered the question, but they're kind of like, they
want to know what her behavior changed.
They're not taking it as seriously the smiley man as Theo is.
Yeah.
And later, fast forward later, she goes to the little girl's house,
the foster parents' home.
Yeah. And she just goes there. She says, "They're like, I didn't know you made house calls." She said, "I normally don't, but I was in the neighborhood and thought, maybe I can get a vibe or something. What's going on with the little girl?"
In the basement, because she said, because the little girl did point out where the things occurred to her is in the basement.
Yes. So she said, "I want to go in your basement." Now, this scene is exactly why I say, fuck that power. Straight up.
They never didn't show us
that.
They just showed her reactions.
Hold on. F that power.
Okay.
Because you know what? She goes into that basement. She
took her gloves off. She wear gloves all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Took her gloves off. She started touching things.
So she can feel.
And once she got to the couch, she stopped because she felt something. Then she laid on it looked like it was like a love seat kind of couch. Short little love seat.
Yeah.
And she sat on it. And then she laid down on it.
Missionary.
And she started tripping, like,
she started reacting,
crying
like she
and
was
reacting. Yeah,
molested.
like well, I don't know what that would look like, but something was happening.
It was sexual. She acted sexually,
something was
but not in the way
occurring
she wanted
on that couch.
Yeah, exactly.
And when she looked up the
ceiling.
face that was in the ceiling in wood, sometimes in wood you could see faces like the rings, the dark rings on wood slats.
It looked like
a face.
A smiley face.
And that was the smiley face.
The girl seen.
Yeah, she had detached herself.
Yeah, to look at the smiley face.
To what was going on to her, and it was just a smiley man.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
that was her thing. But when she left the basement, she played it on off.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna talk about why I say that power's trash. Hold on, because I'm just thinking about it because I'm thinking, you touch people, you see the memories and stuff.
Yeah,
she can touch objects and still see things. Mom,
or feel things.
You could never use a public restroom again.
She wear gloves, dudes.
No, I'm just thinking, like, if your powers literally allow you to it's not even her hands. Because remember, the father grabbed her arm and she seen. So it's skin to skin contact, period.
Yes.
And
it was skin to skin.
Exactly. It's not even hands, it's skin to skin. So, like I said, she could never use a public restroom.
But was she wearing gloves? Oh yeah, she was wearing gloves when her father touched her.
Yeah, exactly.
When she was a little kid.
Yeah,
it was
a flash. Her arm,
it was a flashback that the last night in that house, it was a flashback.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, even touching objects, she sees the remnants of that object.
Yeah, because of the couch. That's how she knew what was going on.
Could you imagine sitting on any couch with that kind of power? You can't sit on. You can't. Like I said, the worst nightmare to me would be sitting on a public restroom. The thing she'd see.
She did wear long sleeves. She did have on long sleeves. Okay, as an adult. Okay. She knew it was a workaround. That was her workaround.
No, I see. We're not gonna play with this.
Yeah,
you're not willing to play with this one.
No.
So just move on. So go ahead.
Continue.
I was continuing. You went on and stole the show. So go on.
We were talking about
the after she left the basement.
After she left the basement, she went upstairs. Now normally she wear her gloves, but she came from out the basement, and her gloves were off, and she was saying goodbye. The foster mother had left and went back to work by this time, but the foster dad was still there, and she didn't have her gloves on, so she shook her hands and to thank him, and she was holding his hand, and she held it a little longer. And what did she say?
You see her facial expression change.
Her facial expression was like, what did she ask him? She asked him something while she was.
You have a nice smile or something. She made a comment about it.
A smile.
He wasn't smiling at all.
No, he wasn't.
But she made a comment like, "You have a nice smile" or something like that. Like I remember, what is it? They're shaking hands they're
at the door.
At the door when she's getting ready to walk out. Bare hands, and she did that on purpose. Yeah. And it kind of
it was an awkward pause.
Yeah, because she's holding it for so long, and she's
trying to see everything.
Yeah, his face changes.
Yeah.
And her face starts changing, and you know she's seeing now this man for what he is and everything going on.
And she go to the car and call social services and tell them what's going on in the household.
When she go outside.
When she go outside and sit in her car and she wait for the police to come, and they said if you all you gotta do is question him, he gonna fold like a cheap suit, and he did.
Yeah.
And they took him out in handcuffs.
I did think that was interesting because that's the first thing I was thinking. I was like, can you really just call CPT and the police and say all this?
But she was a therapist though, dudes.
Can you really just call the police and the what do you call it? The CPT, Child Protective Services, CPS. Can you really just call them and say anything and they're going to just act upon it? But that's what I was thinking initially. But then when she's on the phone telling the people, send the police, she's telling them like, have I ever been wrong yet?
Right.
I'm like, okay, so you got that rapport.
Yeah.
You got that.
And then she's a therapist. So they would definitely have to listen to a therapist. Now, somebody off the street, they would probably come by and do investigation. But if a therapist say, this because she has been seeing the girl.
Yeah.
So they would probably expedite it faster if it comes from a therapist.
Yeah.
In reference to a neighbor.
And I don't know the procedures. I don't have kids. So I don't know the procedure.
I don't know either
of how it works, but it just seemed fishy. But they did kind of for at least if I was wondering, they explained for me.
Yeah.
So that was cool, or at least that was nice that they done that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that scene, where does it jump to? It jumps back to when she was a kid, if I remember correctly. And then the mom is kind of telling her the origin of her abilities.
Yeah.
Saying, what was the word she used? She used the
sensitive.
word sensitive.
Yeah.
And
grandmother.
She was saying that the little girl's grandmother, which was
like
the mother's mom, was sensitive too. Yeah. And it kind of implied that it runs in the family in a way.
Yeah.
And with that, she gave her a pair of gloves the grandma owned.
Yeah.
I guess. And it was
the mother got migraines. I wonder why, because she didn't use her ability, or why? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because if they both sensitive, why wouldn't the mother use the abilities?
Yeah.
So if she didn't use but she probably got migraines. But the little girl, which grew up to be the therapist, she used her abilities.
Yes.
She didn't complain about no migraines at all.
Yeah. And I don't know. It doesn't really. It's a very short conversation, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, the mother was kind of, I know you're sensitive. Here's gloves to help, and if you're having problems, just talk to me about it.
Because she's seen something in the mother. Remember, she screamed. She jumped back and seen her mother with the side of her head
like a corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was earlier in the scene. In the scene when the mother had earlier in the episode when the mother had talked to the daughter and told her, like, you're finding things around the house and you're seeing things that you know, how are you doing this? She kind of looked up and seen her mother, and her mother was a corpse.
Her mother was touching her when she
touched the mother. And then
her mother was touching her, and then she saw it, and she jumped back and screamed.
I guess she can see more than just what your past and present. It seems like she can see your future too. That's what it kind of seems like. If she knew that, you know, maybe she can see the future too, which is very interesting. On top, that's a heavy burden ability. That's heavy. So, the mother does that. Tells her, ooh, and we forgot about the flashback with the her and Luke. Luke
in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah, in the dummy waiter, or the dumbwaiter.
It was a dumbwaiter. Yeah,
dumbwaiter. Yeah, because Luke was playing with it, and one of the house keepers, maids.
The husband and wife.
No, before that, it was the house. Remember
she stopped him from playing and saying, "Get away from that."
Yeah,
she wasn't. She helped around like the garden, her husband was the caretakers.
Yeah, the caretakers of the house.
The caretakers of the house. They left before nightfall. They would come during the day and do everything they can to help, but they leaving before night.
Yeah. So Theo was not Theo. I'm sorry. Luke was playing in the dumbwaiter, trying to get to work, but he couldn't get to work.
It was Luke and Shirley then, or was it Luke and Theo?
Theo was there.
Because she told her, you can let him go now. You know.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Because
that's right. You're right.
When the caretaker, the woman came in, she seen him in there and was like kind of hyped up and
get away from there. Don't play with that.
Kind of got mad aggressive.
Yeah.
And then Theo, as a little girl, is like, you don't have to grab him. Like, she's mad. She giving that mad Wednesday Addams vibes. To me, that's what she was doing. Real calm.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of you. I'm about to tell you.
Psychotic. This bitch. What she thinking?
If you like that the evil children of the corn stay. Like, I'll tell you something you don't want to know.
She did say, oh, she's mean. No, she's not. The little boy said she's mean, and that's when Theo said, no, she's not mean. She's just scared.
So the
lady looked at her like, what?
Because
hell?
Okay. Because when they were walking out of the room, the caretaker was walking them out of the room
to get out of the room from the dumb waiter in the kitchen.
Yeah. But the housekeeper was holding Theo by her shoulders. Yeah. So contact.
Just touching her.
Yeah. Contact. So it was kind of like when she said, "Why?" The little Luke said, "Why are you so mean?" Theo's like looking her dead in her eyes, like, she's not mean, she's just scared. Like, look, like she does that thing where she like look into your soul type thing. That's what it kind of looks like. I'm saying, children of the corn. I would never, like, I'm telling you, if I was working in the house, I could have been cool with any of them kids. I would not have been cool with Theo. That child would have scared me, straight up. Just stare in people's eyes and then tell you horrible. Nah, get that child away from me. That's an evil child. So that happened, and then it fast forward, or in a later scene, Luke is playing it again.
He's inside the dumbwaiter.
Yeah, but can't get it to start.
Was this at night or in the daytime?
Night.
Oh yeah, because he did have PJs on, didn't he?
Yes. So he wanted to see what was going on.
But he couldn't be in the dumbwaiter and start at the same time because you had to close the door for the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
That's when Theo came along to assist him.
Yeah.
She said, okay, just one ride,
Go ahead.
She pushed the button. He wanted to go up. She did push the up switch. She pressed that button that went up. Like those like old light switches. You would push it in and out.
Yeah.
To off and on.
Yes.
The dumbwaiter had the same kind of switch. And she pushed the up one because he thought he was going, and good thing he had a flashlight too.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I wanted to go up, but it would just take him down. She trying to stop it, pushing the button, wouldn't stop it. He went all the way down to a room in the basement.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call that place because it wasn't in the blueprints of the house.
Yeah. He
goes down there, and then he sees something coming behind these big wheelbarrows. No, it wasn't a wheel. That wasn't a wheelbarrow. It was like a big wine barrel. And he starts screaming and the parents come and run in there and they pushing the button. Then he finally come up and his shirt is torn. A little patch of his shirt is gone. He said he saw something and they didn't believe him, of course, because he looked like he might have been about 5 years old. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't believe what he said. He didn't know what he saw, but they didn't believe. He was just screaming frantically. Yeah. So he told Theo he didn't know what he saw, but the distance. And she went to the kitchen and talked and walked the distance, and she found a secret crawl space like on the floor. It was that old-fashioned washing machine on top of it. She found it, opened it up, and went down in there and seen from the dumbwaiter where Luke was. He never left the dumbwaiter, but his the torn pajama piece was like in the middle distance between those two, the area, because he didn't leave the dumbwaiter, but so it was something down there, and they found it was like old what do you call that? The space where they hid stuff back in bootleg days.
I thought they call them crawl spaces.
Well, that was bigger than a crawl space. It was a room.
I thought it would be a basement.
Yeah, it was like a basement, a hidden room.
Okay.
It was like a hidden room that had barrels of. They never told us what was in the barrels.
Yeah.
But they believe it was during Prohibition. They had alcohol down there, and they would sell because the girl found a ledger down there as well from bootlegging days, with the alcohol. So they, that's how but they never said what was in the barrels. Yeah. But she found that spot, and anything she touched, she finds stuff. So it was like whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the parents got mad.
Yeah.
At Theo, like she assisted this. Yeah. And so that happens, and then we jump forward to Theo in the present, and she's having a fling or friends with benefits with an Asian woman. So she seen at the club, ignored her, and then she called her, I guess, to the crib. Asian lady slide through, looking good in a mug, and then she's kind of like straight to action. She got straight to the action faster than most men do. No foreplay at all. Like no foreplay.
She just want to feel something. She want to touch. She just want to feel something.
Whatever the reason, she didn't even say hi. Not even a hi she got. Walked the door straight to action. And they started making out, and the Asian girl kind of like stops this, and she's kind of I'm sorry I don't have her name, and I don't feel like looking through 50 girl. Cast members.
Yeah, no.
I'll do that.
And then she's I don't want to second, third, fifth.
Yeah, because she's not a regular.
Secondary character. She's not
she's not a regular on the show. Which I am.
She's just a body in the show.
Yeah, really, she is. Yeah. And I'm going to get the name, but yeah, she definitely stops it and is like, well, we could talk or
get to know each other better.
Yeah, exactly, or something. Or how's your day? Yeah. And then Theo stops, sits down, and is like, "Oh, you hear about my day? I caught a child molester. I did this. My sister did this. She just went through all the pain of the day, like, and then kind of was like, now that you know, what do you want to talk about? And the Asian girl was kind of like, let's get to action. Like, I didn't want to know all that, but that's what it was. And they get in the bed and start making out, and that's kind of how the episode ends. Okay. We did skip the scene. No, we didn't. We talked about where she touched Nell's body. She seen something and wanted to go to Nell, so she went to the what's the name, the mortuary, to where Nell's
which
body,
is her sister,
yeah, where the body was.
It was she walked right next door. It wasn't far.
Because her sister
lived right there.
It's next door because her sister lives at
runs and lives at this mortuary.
Mortuary. She lives and runs. I don't know why you want to be that close to dead like that, but I mean,
cost effective.
Ain't that the truth? So yeah, she touched her sister, and like I said, you don't see what she sees at all. You don't. You don't just
see her reaction after.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so you exactly see it after, and she, like I said, she breaks into tears. She falls to the ground, freaking out, blah blah blah, and that's how that was that episode. I did enjoy. Like I said, I enjoyed this episode.
I did too as well.
More than I enjoyed the last one.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy this episode 100%.
Me too as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So, the show is still slow.
Yeah.
It's still slow.
It's definitely a slow burn.
Yeah, this is a slow burn show,
definitely.
100%.
You definitely have to pay attention because those flashbacks get you.
Exactly.
It wasn't as many on this particular episode. It really wasn't. But those flashbacks get you.
Levy Tran. Levy Tran is
a real name. Huh?
Yeah, Levy, Levy. It might be
stage
Levy.
Name.
Yeah, Levy Tran. That's the love interest or the side chick to Theo.
Ain't no side chick.
She ain't the main chick.
Ain't no main chick. They just meet up and do.
I guess you can't be a side chick if the person doesn't have nobody. Yeah, the friends with benefits.
Meet in the club.
The friends with benefits.
Yeah, they met in the club at a bar.
Well, they've been doing it longer than that. She said, I seen the bar, but you ignored me. So they had known each other before that scene.
Yeah, and that's all they was doing was whatever. It don't even matter. Whatever.
We splitting hairs.
Yeah, I don't care enough.
Yeah, so. Really? So, okay. So that was episode 3 of that. Now we'll be jumping into The Harder They Fall. Now.
It took him, this became out, a year and a half ago? And he just now seen it for the first time. I've been trying to get him to see it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Okay, we're not even going to go there.
She said she had been trying to get me to see it. She literally tried to convince me the day before we watched it.
To watch?
She acted like
dude,
she had...
I asked you when it first came out. I said I love me some because I like westerns. I said this is a good movie with all the people in it. You was like, I don't like westerns. I'm not into westerns. And then all of a sudden, I think you even said you looked at some reviews on it, and the reviews weren't raving about it. Why look at it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I wasn't interested in a western. I'm just not. So it's like, in order for me to really,
I like westerns.
In order for me to be interested in a western, you have to boom, pow, bang. It has to be the best western in 30 years for me.
You got the Michael Bay him.
Don't disrespect. No, don't you ever disrespect. This movie would have been.
I love Michael Bay.
Michael Bay would have directed.
He blow up everything. I like blow it up. That's my thing, though.
If Michael Bay would have directed this movie, it would have been terrible.
Stop, dude.
It would have been.
It would have been explosions.
It would have been
more than it was.
It would have been no story.
Because they had, two explosions, but one was good when Dion Cole blew up. That was the best one when Idris Elba shot the bag of explosives, and he blew up his whole, that was the best explosion, but the rest of them was just small sticks of dynamite, But that was it. But anyway, Harder They Fall, excellent movie, loved it. He finally seen it. Trying to talk him into seeing it, but he finally seen it. But that's okay. Excellent cast. Oh my God. I think the cast was star-studded. And everybody is good actors. You believe the characters. They are seasoned actors. I didn't think it was anybody. No, I don't think it was nobody new. Nobody new. that was on the cast because everybody I was familiar with, you know. So.
Okay, so The Harder They Fall it's basically it you know, why read the synopsis? It's a revenge story. That's what it is. It's a revenge story.
And the leads are,
and it's starring Jonathan Majors.
Yay.
Zazie Beetz.
Praying for you, John.
I'm not gonna touch that. Zazie Beetz.
I don't believe it. I'm
not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch that. Zazie Beetz. R.J. Seiler. Eddie. That's an interesting way of spelling Eddie. I've never seen that. Or Edie. One of them. What's that? Gathagy? Eddie Gathagy? Edie Gathagy?
Ain't that a Nigerian name or African name?
I have no idea. Yeah. Trying to see who else was significant in this movie. Damon Wayans Jr. Dion Cole. Regina King.
Who played Cuffy? The girl.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Who played Cuffy?
Danielle Deadweiler.
Oh, okay.
Danielle Deadweiler. And that's
Cuffy had crazy eyes.
Idris Elba was in there too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
but it was Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Delroy Lindo. Yeah, he was in there too. Yes, he was.
Now all these characters were real people, but not in the same time. You know,
they got a whole bunch of black cowboys and cowgirls and put them all in this fantasy story. They were real people.
They were real people, yes.
Yeah, but
they didn't exist in the same time span.
That's what I was saying. They got all these characters of the past.
Made a good story out of it.
Put them all into this fantasy story.
Yeah.
And it was the
only person new to me was Zazie Beetz. Even though I'd heard the name, but
she's been in a lot of stuff.
Huh?
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I had heard the name, but I didn't have a face to put with it. I remember it because the name was interesting, Zazie. That was an interesting name, Zazie Beetz. Mm-hmm. You won't forget if you hear that one time. You was like, what?
Swear to God, I always thought when I first started hearing her name a couple of years ago or a few years ago, I thought it was a DJ turned actor.
Right. Right. Zazie Beetz.
That's her legit
It's
name.
a DJ name.
Yeah, I thought it was a DJ name.
Look, I know she glad that's not a stripper name. It's a DJ name though. It really is.
True.
I think a club. I don't think a strip club though.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
That's but anyway, she that was the only person that was new to me that I finally seen what she looked like. Mm-hmm. Even though I put a face with the name,
mm-hmm.
But yeah. But the opening scene with that was cold. Ooh, that guy was in it too. He be pinning a lot of good Tyler Perry movies too. What's his name? The father his father.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
What was his name?
He's known to look like knockoff Great Value Steve Harvey.
Warren. What was his name?
I'm looking at. Wow. Go ahead, go on. But
the opening scene. Yeah, the opening scene. They don't let you know it's his father right away, but this man is sitting at the dinner table. Him and his wife is finna eat with his son. He had the food prepared. They was finna say grace before they eat because he was a preacher. Get a knock at the door. The wife said, "Are you expecting anybody?" And it was like, "No, I'm not expecting anybody." So he goes to the door, and when he seen who was at the door, he was shocked. He was in shock. It was like, what? He didn't say what, but he was in shock. You could tell by the look on his face. And the guy pushed through. Now, all this time, you see all this, you never see his face. The man who pushed him out of the way to enter his home didn't say a word, just pushed him out the way and went sat at the table, pulled out his guns. They was pretty guns. Gold. Yeah, they looked like they were solid gold, but I know they probably wasn't solid gold.
Yeah, but they looked beautiful.
They was beautiful.
Looked like guns that wasn't meant to be fired.
That wasn't meant to be. Yeah. Or signature guns. Those are his special made guns. You know. He put them on the table, and the man said, "Leave my family alone. Your fight is with me. Let's step outside." Blah blah blah. And he was like, we ain't gonna do this. He sat there, and What kind of conversation did they say? He had said something, spit on the man's floor when he walked in. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
He put the gun on. He put the guns on his son and his wife. He said, "No, please." He was begging them not to do it.
Yeah.
And the wife is sitting there, please, like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Never said who he was, though.
Yeah. You don't even see his face either.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just see the back of his head.
Yeah, but then you see his face. You do see his face because, well, you do see his face afterwards. But the man's hand that was with him had a scorpion tattooed on his hand.
That was a whole different character.
Yeah, but that's how. Remember he put the.
Oh yeah, the other, because he came with multiple.
He
people.
came with the man that walked in with him.
Michael Beach. That's the father's name. Michael Beach. Michael
okay.
Beach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he ended up shooting the wife to death. And then
you can shoot people other ways.
I'm just saying, you could shoot people and they survive, but she was dead. And then he grabbed on the floor like, no, begging and whatever. And he ended up shooting him too. And the little boy looked like he might have been 9-10 years old, screaming. He don't know what the hell is going on. They took out a straight razor and put a cross in his forehead. That's the letter. I mean, I know why he did it now, because in the later in the movie, he clearly tells you why. And then he leaves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick it up from there.
I mean, I'm not gonna go scene for scene. We'll be here all day. It was a long.
Because he's an adult when he comes back. After he leaves, he's an adult. So
the movie is really long. So
not to me.
It was a bit too long.
Not
in my
to
opinion.
Me. Not to me.
So
I like westerns.
So with that being said, it was how do I say? It really kind of is. Idris Elba is getting broken out of jail or prison or whatever, and what is it? Jonathan Majors. I don't know why. I know that's his name, but when I say it, I feel like I'm messing it up. Yeah. But yeah, Jonathan Majors. He's I guess the counter. The Nat Love gang.
Nat Love gang.
And Idris Elba was which one?
Idris Elba was last name was Buck. Rufus Buck gang.
The Buck gang. Oh yeah. But yeah. So it's basically what is it? Jonathan Majors basically finds Zazie Beetz, and
well, he killed the scorpion hand first in the church.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to go. I'm not going scene for scene.
Okay.
This is a 2.5 hour movie.
All right.
I'm not gonna go. We'll be here for 3 hours, going scene by scene
no,
by
we
scene.
Won't.
Anyways, so yeah, but he's basically on this revenge story. He's on this revenge thing, and basically what it is, he rounds up. He basically goes to Zazie Beetz. They round up the gang, and they like, oh well, what is his name? Damon Wayans Jr. I guess he finds out he finds out through Damon Wayans Jr. or let me slow down.
The bank robbery. You talking about that part?
Yeah, the bank robbery. Yeah. And Damon Wayans is
part of the gang.
The gang, exactly. Yeah. And basically the Nat Love gang catch him, and he's the last alive, and telling them, oh, it's cool. I ain't even tripping because Rufus Buck about to get out. And once he get out, it's over for y'all gang. Mm-hmm. And so they take him to Idris Elba and I'm sorry, Jonathan Majors.
After they take the money.
Yeah, they take the money. Yeah, they go to Jonathan Majors' gang, and it's like, yo, he got something he need to say and you should hear. And Jonathan Majors is like, I don't know what this motherfucker got to say. Go to him. He's like, Rufus Buck getting out. And he's like, how? He's supposed to be locked up forever. How? Mm-hmm. And he said, I don't know how. But word is, he is. So boom, 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 and he laughing, blah, blah, blah. And what they do, they left him alive to send the message, and send it back to Rufus Buck, or Idris Elba. And basically, they round up the gang and look, it's go time. It's go time. And it was so interesting that, like I said, this it's hard for me to talk about this movie because it's so much to it. It's such a simple story. You know what it is? You know, I'll put it this way. This is a really, really simple and bare bones story. That's really what it is. But it has such deep, interesting, and rich characters.
And a twist at the end.
And the twist. Yeah, and the twist at the end, which we are not going to reveal that twist. That long movie, if this is a long movie. The twist is worth it. We're not going to expose the twist.
But it's been off for over a year. Don't you think people seen it already?
That's true, but let's say someone hasn't.
Okay, whatever.
We're not going to expose the twist. Right. We'll expose the twist if we would have done this 5-10 years from now. Then we would have done it. So we're not talking the twist. So anyways, it's like I said, it's a simple tale, but every character, I think the only way to give this movie justice for us to talk about is talk about each character, the characters, because that was the movie. It was the character. This movie was completely held together, and it's done by its cast. This movie is all cast,
and they were excellent.
They were excellent. They were excellent. Yeah, this movie ain't working with nobody else other than this cast. Yeah, you needed people this good. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to say that it was a bad movie or a bad story. It's just literally it's a revenge story. That's as simple as that. You killed someone I love, so now I gotta kill you, which is a very simple story. But when you got characters this interesting, so Idris Elba's character, we're gonna talk about the characters. I think that's what we need to talk about.
Well, when they got him out, when they chased down that the train, that was cool. When they went to the train and stopped the train in the middle of the tracks. Yeah. And Regina King was cold. She is an actor. Not an actress, but an actor. And that's a higher level to me. Because every character she plays, I believe her.
Wait, what?
I'm just my thing, dude. It's just my thing. It's not
male or female, but okay.
Yeah, it's just my thing. Okay. She's a professional at what she does.
Yeah. She's multi-talented,
Yeah,
she's extremely talented.
Well, I ain't never seen her heard her sing, so I don't know about that.
Sing? Well, I just know she directs, she writes,
yeah. But anyway, Regina King, she was sitting on the horse. The colors were beautiful too, because they made a point to. These colors were vibrant that they wore, and even the town, it was colorful. And she got the train to stop by sitting on her horse. The conductor get off and was finna say the N-word, and did she shoot him before he could say the N-word? And the man said, "How you know he was gonna say that? He could have said nincompoop." She put her hand on, "Look, I ain't no nincompoop." You remember that part? Okay. And then she go on the train, and the Cherokee Bill. Cherokee Bill was directing.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay. He was directing people that we just came, blah, blah, blah. Everybody calm down, blah, blah, blah. It's always one hero. He come up and say, "Oh, so you the hero." Then he said, "Okay, if you could do something, then I'll do." It was something that he said, but he pulled out that knife and cut him on his Achilles. He cut both the man's Achilles and somewhere on his thighs where the man couldn't even stand up. I probably cut those veins, and the man just sat down. You remember that part?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. I thought that was a good part to me, because he just. I love action movies. I'm an action person, and that's when he walks to the next car, telling people, "Okay, we just here, blah blah blah. Everybody just calm down. You know, you'll get on your way." Then when he get to the back to the last car, it's this little young boy protecting. It's like they were officers. Like Confederate, yeah. No, they were Army. Yeah. I don't know if it was Confederates.
That's different. That's a whole different era of time. Confederate soldiers is a whole different era of time. But go ahead.
Later on, yeah, that's right. But they were soldiers, and it was his son, the captain, who was behind the last. It was in the last car. Guarding Idris Elba. They had him in his big metal box. And when they told him to open the door, the little youngster come up and say, hold it right there. I'm gonna shoot you, and it's like, no, you're not gonna shoot nobody. They seen how scared he was in his eyes, and they end up shooting him, didn't they? To open the door.
No.
The young kid. They did shoot the young kid.
No, not to the end. He was the last one alive.
No, but I mean to get into the last.
He said, "Drop your weapons, all you in there, and let us in." And then,
I'm gonna shoot
your boy, and he didn't.
He did shoot him in the leg. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, as a warning. I'm thinking you talking about killing. No, he shot him. Yeah, he shot him in the leg.
And
yeah.
the man opened to know he was serious, and they opened the door because Paul, I'm all right, Paul. If he hadn't said that, you never know the situation. Yeah. But he said, "I'm okay, Paul." And it was his dad that was the military guy. And the funny thing about it is when they got in there, it's like, don't you know, some general sent them with a full pardon for Rufus Buck. And they used this particular guy because he was the scum of the earth of the military. He made the military look bad and shameful because he had raided this town and done some awful things with women and children. But since he was in the military, it was him and his men done this. So they sent them to protect Rufus Buck. But they did a backhanded deal with the Rufus Buck gang to break him out. It was crazy. So they can kill them all. And that's what, once Rufus Buck got out, got their love, and then they killed them all. They asked who could run the train, and the youngster, his son, raised his hand like, I can do this train, you know. And then he walked in and said, kill them all. And they killed all the rest of the military guys. Because that's what they were really there to do. You know, because when he said he signed that pardon and said, have you ever wondered why you got this gig? You know what I mean? And that's when they rode back into the town. Okay. Now go and do your part.
Like I said, I didn't want to do scene for scene.
I know, but so I thought that was important to me. That was important.
It's a revenge story.
Yes, it is.
I didn't talk about the characters. Idris Elba's character, to me, was, I don't know. You know what? Idris Elba done Idris Elba, in my opinion. He done Idris Elba. He did not disappoint. He didn't disappoint. Look, when it comes down to it, say what you want, but Idris Elba looks good kicking ass. He does. He looks good kicking ass. That's what he looks good doing it. There's not many people who look good doing it. There are people who kick all kinds of ass in movies, but don't look half as good doing it. So I can't say I loved his character because he was he wasn't heavy on dialogue. He wasn't until the end when he had to tell the story.
Regina King talked for him all the
most of the time. Exactly.
She talked for him.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was he was the kind of the boss in the back that didn't really get involved. He kind of he knew how things were supposed
to run.
Yeah.
So it's like long as they do their job, I ain't got nothing to say.
Exactly. I ain't got nothing. I don't need to do nothing. Right. And I got people for that.
Yeah.
So that was his thing, So, but he was imposing. He was very like, when you seen him, it's like, oh, I believe he the leader. I believe he that dude. I believe that. So he's very believable.
Yeah.
So that was his character to me. So I wouldn't call him like the highlight of the movie.
No.
He played his part. Yeah. And Regina King,
I liked her character.
I loved her character.
Yeah.
She was the right hand of the devil. And she was a great.
I liked her character. Yeah.
Yeah, she was great at it. She was very capable, extremely capable of killer. She was a murderer, and she was cold.
Yeah.
She was cold with it. And she was killing it.
Her thing was knives.
It was?
Yeah. Remember she took that knife and cleaned it off on somebody's leg or something?
Yeah. She was.
Her thing was knives.
But she was cold with it. Her performance was amazing.
Yeah.
Her performance was good. Who else was in the game? Lakeith Stanfield. He was heavier on dialogue than most people.
Yeah.
But
he was the quick draw.
The quickest
that the other kid was trying to beat him to the draw.
Yeah. He was the quickest gun in the West.
Yeah.
And which it was interesting because it was the juxtaposition of it, because he was the quickest in the West, but he was like the slowest talker. Yeah. So
he would give everybody a chance because he said, "I gave you a choice."
Yeah, he gives it.
He said, "I give everybody a choice."
I don't like going violent.
I don't
like violence.
I'm not a violent man.
Yeah.
Even though
I will kill you. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. I'm not playing with you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he gave everybody a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I kept hearing that he stole the show, which I halfway. You know what? I'll say. I halfway agree, halfway. If you feel like Lakeith Stanfield stole the show on this movie, I'm not gonna argue with you. I can't say I share your sentiment, but I hear you. It was amazing. What he done was great. I hear you. And who else was on their gang too? That was notable that we can. Who else was on the?
It was
well,
he was in their gang, but he wasn't running with him like that. Dion Cole.
He was the mayor or the sheriff or the mayor. Yeah, mayor.
Yeah, but that was Rufus Buck Town. He placed him in that position
to hold everything down while he was gone.
While he was gone, right? So he was with him, but he got big headed. Trying to sell the town, and they, that was told the town people we need some money so we can buy our property. So when they come to take our property away, they say we gonna get first choice, but you know how some of these devils do. They don't keep treaties with nobody.
Exactly.
So he wanted the money, and they didn't have it like that. Because he ended up killing one man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to jump over to Jonathan Majors' gang, which consisted of Jonathan Majors,
Buddy Love, what was his name? Nat Love.
Nat Love, Zazie Beetz, and R.C. Seiler.
Was he the quick draw?
Jim Beckworth, yeah. So he was the dude always twirling his guns and
trying to. Yeah.
He is show off, flashy.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because how do I say, every time he hated hearing
Cherokee Bill was the fastest draw.
He heard it everywhere.
Him and that other guy. What was that other guy he would always fuss with the hat?
Eddie Bill Pickett, which is Eddie Gathegi or Edie Gathegi or Eddie. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but yeah, him would always get tired of hearing him argue and hearing him go back and forth. I don't know why you're trying. You can't read it. I don't know why you're trying. You can't read it. I don't know why you're trying.
Squint, I'd have seen it.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, when it came down to that, they were kind of going back. It almost felt like at first when they first came on the screen, I thought they were like brothers because they argued like siblings do.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. But
that funny part when they went to I'm backtracking when he said, I told my mama you wasn't shit.
Yeah.
My mama said he a nice boy.
I told him exactly.
I told my mama you wasn't shit.
Yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. I thought that the relationship they had.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jonathan Majors, I think he's Jonathan Majors. Even though I'm going to leave out everything going on with him right now because we don't know all the facts, and first of all, I don't like getting involved with I don't care what they do. All I care is what the art they put out. That's all I care about. So to have him lead the Nat Love gang, first of all, his performance was amazing. Jonathan Majors he's always believable. He portrays emotion so well on camera. And Zazie Beetz, I'll be honest, I will say it, and I know people gonna either agree with me or hang me at the stake, or what they say, hang me at the cross. I'm still not sold on Zazie Beetz.
Was she really kind of like a newcomer? Yeah, I'm with you on that. She done a good job. Don't get me wrong, she done a good job.
I've seen her in 3 movies, and I can't say I'm sold still.
Yeah,
I'm not sold. She's never bad.
Yeah,
she's never bad. She's
right. But I agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you on that one.
Zazie Beetz is first of all, she's never bad. She is not a bad pick. I'm not saying she shouldn't get work. No, I'm still just not sold on her.
Yeah.
But then again, I've also never seen her in like a very emotional headed role. Yeah, I've never seen her there.
She played Mary. Who did she play? The character.
I remember her playing Domino in Deadpool. That's what I remember her from. Mary
Fields.
Yeah, Mary Fields.
That's who she played. She Stagecoach Mary. That's who she was supposed to be playing. Yeah. Now, me personally, don't get me wrong, Zazie Beetz was good, but Stagecoach Mary was a big, brawly, dark-skinned black woman. I'd have liked to seen that character portrayed like that, a big, brawly, dark-skinned woman, who the real, Stagecoach Mary.
Yeah.
But they come with this petite, light-skinned, I guess it was to push the storyline. So they were lovers, her and Nat Love.
Yeah, exactly.
So they pushed the storyline, but that's my little thing I would have liked to have seen.
Mm-hmm. I don't think.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't care. Who, as long as the acting's good, I don't care. Like, because when it comes down to, I guess, the historical skin tone accuracy, I'm not as strict with it all the time. I'm really not. As long as
give me somebody close.
I'm talking. No. As long as you're the same race, I'm cool with it.
Not me.
I don't care if when it comes to the exact tone and complexion, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not that strict.
Because all that matters when they do something, when that girl, what's her name? Oh my God, played Nina Simone. I was pissed off, and I thought, okay, let me see what she does. But they darkened her skin. Zoe Saldana, she played Nina Simone, and they put dark skin. They darkened her skin with makeup. Why not just hire an actress that's already dark to play Nina Simone? And she did. She was horrible. Horrible.
To me, I don't care because it's a movie. If this was a documentary or if this was trying to be historically accurate, then I want it to look more realistic.
Well, the characters were real.
Okay, but this is not a real story.
Yeah, but the characters are real. Why not give me what the real characters could have possibly looked like? I mean, you create the story, yes. Fine.
Look, I hear you, but like I said, if we doing it, it's Hollywood. This is a movie. It's weird for me. It's weird to me for you to be like, I want the accuracy of skin complexion.
Yes.
But then you're completely okay with Michael Bay blowing a car 30 million miles in the air for no reason.
What did that got to do with
it's
skin
fake.
complexion?
That's the whole thing. They're fake.
Just that's not the same.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
That's not the same.
To me, it's like, like I said, in my mind, once you've made it a movie, anything you can do. You can do anything you want. It's a movie now.
Absolutely.
It's not trying to be historically accurate.
But they portrayed historically these people.
This movie, I doubt that.
These were actually people. These were actual people that existed in the West, but at different times. We said that in the beginning. That was the accuracy of who they are. They just bring a story together.
I'm talking about you can't catch their likeness. I'm sorry. Their dialogue, who they were. You don't know who they were. Because you gotta think. I'm trying to think too. When I was watching this movie, I'm watching these characters talk to each other and blah blah blah, and I have to remind myself these are real people, but we have really no idea how they would have interacted with each other if this really would have happened. We have no idea.
Okay, I get you on that one. But there are records. Because Stagecoach Mary was a real person. They have a photograph of Stagecoach Mary.
Okay.
The man who played
here's my question.
Delroy Lindo.
Here's my question.
He was really not to say bounty hunter, but a marshal.
Yeah.
Who really went at. They have a photograph of him.
Yeah.
He was a close likeness.
Okay.
They have a.
So you're saying
each person they have photographs or likenesses of these people.
So each person, basically what you're saying, looked like their person they're supposed to play, but her. Everybody else looked exactly, or at least as close as they could.
Close as they could.
Everybody else did.
Yeah, but Stagecoach Mary, yes.
Okay.
The character who Regina King played.
Okay.
Yeah, the photograph I saw and the person she was playing, the photograph I saw, she looked like she was a biracial woman, and a little thicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not as strict on that because to me it's fantasy. It's a movie. We can do anything here. If this was a documentary and they'd have pulled that shit, okay, fool. I feel you. That's the criminal.
But if you're gonna tell the story of somebody's life, so give me a glimpse.
But they're not telling the story of somebody's life. That's not what they're doing. Okay. That's not what this was. They told you at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, this whole thing is fictional. The characters were real. The characters existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really. I thought that was interesting that they used the words they did at the beginning.
Yeah.
But all it said was, "This is a completely fictional story."
Yeah.
And all it said was, "But these people existed."
Yeah.
So I didn't even like that terminology, me personally, because first of all, I don't know the history of the Wild West like that. I was not alive then. It wasn't. I
wasn't either, but I'm fascinated with some parts, especially the black part.
But see, I'm personally not.
All we were was slaves. That's all they can go back to and tell us we were slaves. It's like, come on, we had to be greater than that because we intimidate you guys. Why you want to? We just couldn't have been slaves. It had to be much. It has to be much more, dudes, than that. Because they trying to kill us all. It's much more than that. Slaves, it's bullshit. Give me the real deal. But that's just,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just saying I don't really care about that. Whether you're white or black, cowboy history, I don't really. It's not something that I think I go out and see. It's not for me. It's not interesting to me. So to see but like I said, the wording of it was these people existed and that was it. I was like, wait, hold on. With that, you could have some of these characters, which I don't know the history. Some of these characters didn't even that means that these characters might not have even been killers, and you got them as a killer because you technically told me the truth. They existed. That was it. This is a completely fantasy tale. So, like I said, with that being said, that's why I don't really. The look of it doesn't bother me because it's not real. It's a fantasy. The people existed. Okay, cool. But if you're going to make them go on a killing spree against each other, like, you can do anything. We can do anything with this. That's how I felt. It didn't bother me. So, but other than Zazie Beetz, we move on from Zazie Beetz. Who else was part? RJ Cyler, who was the quickest gun. And he was very charismatic, very hot-headed. But I'll say this, he was very one-note. Because the second he started twirling his gun and saying two lines, you knew.
Challenging everybody.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he's going to die pretty quickly. He's not going to live long, which he really didn't. And
you could tell he was young.
Yes, young cat.
Youngsters do stuff
like
that. Yeah.
And Eddie Gathegi, Bill Pickett, he was that long shot. He was the one in the back. Shooting from, he was the low key, the old West sniper. He was the sniper guy, low key. That's what he was. He was, and I actually enjoyed his character. He was probably one of my favorite characters. Okay. I enjoyed his character, which I did not expect to, but I enjoyed his lines. His dialogue. I enjoyed how he delivered it. I enjoyed his character. Okay. He was very, you know what it was? In a lot of situations, he was the voice of reason.
Okay.
He was. Okay. When Jonathan Majors was like, blood, I want blood, he was the one to kind of say something, we got to be smart about this.
Yeah.
He was like the moral compass or the one who reeled everything back in. Yeah. So I really enjoyed his character, and he played a big part, and I think not enough people talk about his contribution to the story, which I think was really interesting. But I enjoyed that character, probably one of my favorite characters. But yeah, we've talked about most of the characters, and really that's what it is. It's an action Western shoot 'em up. I'll tell you this, I struggle with action movies because I question too much. I question way too many things. And during this movie, I had way too many questions. Every time a character pulled his gun out and shot a perfect shot within 0.00002 milliseconds, I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me go back to that time period of time machine. Let me see if they was really that fast and that accurate. At that speed, can you be that accurate? Like, can you really? I'd want to know. Because I tell you something, that was the code. That's something funny. Nobody missed a single bullet. But when it came to when you needed to live for the next scene, you just couldn't get hit. it was by the same people who couldn't miss.
Western.
You know what I'm saying? These whole movies go through the whole movie hitting every bullet, but when it came to the final fight, they can't hit a single bullet. So I'm like, so that's
what extras are for. Extras get killed.
That's my point. But I find that so interesting. That's why I think I struggle with action movies, because I see it. Like, it's like, bro,
we
come
all
on,
see it, dude. This a fantasy. Let's enjoy the ride.
You know what?
Just go on the ride.
You know what? You know what it is? My suspension of disbelief. I can't ever do that with action movies. I can't ever.
Oh, but you like horrors and you believe those?
No, that's what I'm saying. I can put my suspension. I can't say the words now. My suspension of belief I can easily apply on horror movies, but when I see action movies, it's more difficult for me to apply it. It's more difficult for me, at least personally. So when it came, other than that, I think the movie, because we're over an hour now, so we have to cut this short. Yeah, so we're gonna give this movie a rating, and
out of
5. So what we're gonna give this movie a rating and close it out. So ladies first. I know you're super excited about this movie.
I give it a 4.7. Always room for improvement.
4.7. We don't do
out of 5.
We don't do points. You either do wholes or halves. We don't do the
okay.
points.
4.5. 4.5 then.
4.5. I think, me personally, I would give this movie a 4.5 too. I think it was a 4.5 too. There's a little more I wanted from the movie. First of all, the movie was too friggin' long. It was too long. Now, I'm not saying it was painfully long. It was not painfully long. It wasn't so long to where this is the worst. No, it ain't painfully, but it is a bit too. It's a bit too long to me. It could have been shaved down a couple minutes.
To me.
So I think it was too long. But 4.5, I think, is where I would rate that. And I thought it was a solid film. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. But like I said, it was, to me, the entire treat was watching these stars and characters on screen. Mm-hmm. That is the selling point of the movie. That is literally, the cast is the selling point of this movie by far. So I thought that was an amazing.
And surprised that it was a Netflix movie.
Netflix throw money at everything,
you know.
But yeah, so we enjoyed that movie. I would. Would you recommend?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I recommend it to everybody, not everybody. Everybody.
And I would recommend it to everybody too. This was just a good movie. It was just good.
All around good movie.
Simple. It's a simple. It's not even like I said. It's not even like something you have to really deeply analyze or deeply think. No, it's just good action. It's just good action. Good shoot 'em up. It's good. Like I said, it's just you just be wary that you are gonna need time, because it is a longer movie. This is
you won't feel it though.
But you need it. Don't try to drop your kids off somewhere for an hour and think you can finish this movie. Nope. You need some time to finish it. So just set some time around to side to watch the movie. But it is a fun watch from start to finish. Yeah. From start to finish, it's good. So that's been our rating, sis. That's been our rating and the recommendation on it. So I want to thank you guys for showing up to another episode of House of Soul podcast. We talk movies and TV shows. Next week we will be talking about The Haunting of Hill House, episode 4, and we will also be talking about the movie 13 Ghosts. Yes, I asked my mother if there was a movie she wanted to talk about, and she said 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts.
I did not expect that. I don't even know why she wants to talk about it.
Well, it's other things I wanted to review, but it's like, okay.
So
you look at this one.
So I figured that's a classic movie. That's a classic movie.
Yeah.
And very I'd actually love to revisit it.
Very good.
But see,
and we will be revisiting it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm excited to revisit it because I want to see if I can see through the same lens. Because even though the movie's a classic, a lot of people who have rewatched it like, this movie isn't very good. Oh. So I want to see how I feel about it after rewatching it as the age I am now. Okay. To see how I feel. Okay. But once again, thank you guys for showing up. I know it's ran a little longer than usual, but you know, a lot to fit in, and really we really glossed over The Harder They Fall. So I would watch that movie.
We really did.
Why, if you have not seen it, if you've been putting it off,
see it.
Watch that movie. Yes, 100% watch that movie.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for showing up to the podcast. Any future announcements? I think I will be opening up a donation system for the podcast. I think I'll be doing that pretty soon. So soon, if you guys would like to help us up the production value and help everything kind of grow, you'll be able to do that very soon. Please follow, comment, just give us feedback,
share, subscribe, whatever it is,
Yeah, give us feedback on anything you think we could do better or anything like that, because I am open to
constructive
criticism. Yeah, you come in here talking that wild shit like y'all just sucking in.
Delete.
Yeah, I'm blocking your mouth. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm not gonna block you. I'm gonna just ignore you and make you sit here and keep watching. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna block you. No, I want you gonna get this. You gonna get this podcast work.
But anyway,
But yeah, thank you guys for showing up again. We're gonna get up out of here, and please come back next week for the next episode. And we'd love to have you. Have a lovely day.
Peace.
Deuces.